Welcome to the Exchange Video Library. We are here with Katherine Raskob, the Chief Executive Officer of Fundraising Institute Australia, which is the national peak body for professional fundraising. Welcome, Katherine.
Thank you.
Let's jump into this notion of vulnerability in professional fundraising. There's a couple of things we can cover here, but let's get started first with vulnerability. And what does that actually look like in fundraising?
Sure. Vulnerability is quite a critical aspect of fundraising and is becoming increasingly so in the last couple of years. It's inevitable that fundraisers will come into contact with donors or supporters in vulnerable circumstances or who need additional support in order to make an informed decision about donating or assisting. So there will also be times when fundraisers inadvertently approach people who may not have the capacity to make a decision to donate. And that capacity is really a critical issue because we are guided at FIA by the FIA code, which states that members will not accept a donation where they have a reasonable belief that a donor is in a vulnerable circumstance or lacks the capacity to make a decision to donate. So that's why this is quite a critical issue. So in terms of this area, FIA undertake mystery shopping on its member organizations to understand the areas where they struggle to comply with the FIA code. And over the last 2 years in its mystery shopping, it discovered again and again that this was a very challenging area for our members, fundraising organizations, and fundraising teams to actually understand. Vulnerability is quite a difficult subject, and it can be a very, very gray area. So during that period of mystery shopping, when we discovered that it was very challenging, FIA developed new tools and resources to help fundraising teams and individuals to understand vulnerability, and then subsequently developed a new course that really unpacks the area of vulnerability and helps fundraisers to understand what vulnerability means, and also helps them through case studies and learning and talking with other participants in the course to tease out the cues and clues that you might encounter as a fundraiser to when somebody is in a vulnerable circumstance. Now, vulnerability, as I said, is quite a difficult and challenging area. It can be permanent vulnerability, it can be temporary vulnerability. Vulnerability could include times when people are affected by the current challenges or natural disasters that we're undergoing now. They may be in bushfire or flood affected areas and are not able to make a good decision or a proper decision about donating. They themselves would be in a temporary vulnerable position, which would preclude a fundraiser from taking advantage of that or in any way asking or accepting a donation if that is the case. Vulnerability can be more long-term. It could be a person who has language difficulties and doesn't understand the language of the fundraiser in their ask, or not even difficulties. It could be just different languages. Australia is a very multicultural country with lots of people speaking different languages. So they may not have the same language as the fundraiser and be able to clearly understand the commitment they're making or the opportunity that they want to provide in terms of a donation. It could be a donor who is in a circumstance where they have dementia or another cognitive disease, where they may sound, perhaps over the telephone, they may sound okay, but they may provide some cues or clues that potentially they're not in a position to give an informed consent or provide a donation because they're not clearly understanding the implications of that donation. So there are a number of factors, these are just a few, that are explored in our new course called Managing Vulnerability. And we've developed this course specifically, as I said, with case studies and opportunities to sort of tease out and talk with each other using a tutor-led approach to understand how you might encounter these situations, what they might look or sound like, and how you might deal with them so that you can absolutely be confident that you're abiding by the FIA code in terms of not taking a donation from a person who might be in a vulnerable position or a circumstance, and that you're absolutely undertaking ethical best practice fundraising to your best ability.
Excellent. Thank you, Katherine. It's just another great example of the wonderful leadership in FIA. Congratulations on taking this into the stage of having a course available for our sector. It's just wonderful to see. And thank you for sharing more about that with us today. In the links below, you can read more about managing vulnerability in donor and supporter interactions. Share that with your CEO, share that with your board, share that with those that may be interested to learn more and upskill in this area. So if this has been helpful, please stay in touch, and please also subscribe, like, and share.